Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube NFL predictions segment, I'm going to be giving you my picks for the 2014-15 NFL season, Week 3. Well, after going a robust 8-8 last week, after all my work I did in researching and being analytical and doing all this analysis and what have you, I want to try something different this week. It's going to be somewhat impromptu. I guess you could say it's impromptu to some degree. It's just basically me just looking at these games and just telling you which one is better. And right now, that's pretty much what I'm going to do. You almost have to be a medium or a prophet to pick these games right now. So anyway, first game, I'm going to take Atlanta at home over Tampa Bay. I don't know if Tampa Bay can get out of its own way right now. I think the Falcons are just the better team, and the Falcons did. I know they didn't play well last week, but however, they are better than Tampa Bay, like most teams right now. I think quarterback Matt Ryan will bounce back and he'll have a good game. Atlanta at home, I'm going to take. Now Buffalo is at home against San Diego. Now this game is kind of a toss-up, but I'm going to take Buffalo. I'm not going to jump off their bandwagon just yet. They seem like, I know that they have started 2-0 in a number of times in the last 10 or 11 seasons, and they would finish like below 8-8. But at the same time, we look at this team, and it's like Buffalo, maybe they're a little bit better than what we anticipated. Maybe this is the season that they show strong balance on both ends of the field, and I'm going to take Buffalo in this one. Now the next game, I'm going to take Dallas on the road over St. Louis. Now the St. Louis Rams, they went into Tampa Bay and won. Well, okay, that was fine and everything. The Dallas Cowboys, I think they're going to be closer to the team that we saw last week against the Tennessee Titans, as opposed to when they were throttled in game number 1 by San Francisco. I think Tony Romo had suffered from a little rustication in that game, and I see him playing better now. I think they're going to start to get into a rhythm offensively. I'm going to take Dallas on the road. Now the next game, I'm going to take the Eagles at home over the Washington Redskins. Now Washington is, I don't know what's going to happen with that quarterback situation with RG3. We have Philadelphia at home. They had a very good come-from-behind win in a very tough place to play at Indianapolis. I see them winning this one and being 3-0 after this game. Now the next game, well, I had such grandiose hopes for the New York Giants at the beginning of the season, and now they've somewhat deflated. I'm going to take Houston on the road against the G-Men. It's almost one of those teams I think at this point I'm going to pick against until it's proven otherwise. They disappointed me last week. I felt that they should have beaten Arizona. I know that Arizona is a very good team, but the Giants had a chance for redemption. I thought that was a game they had the potential to win if they didn't get the job done. And Houston looks a little better than they were last season, and I'm going to take Houston on the road. Now the next game, I'm going to take the Saints at home against the Minnesota Vikings. The New Orleans Saints are 0-2, as most of you know, and I know the Vikings have one win. I believe they are 1-1, and now the Saints 0-2, but they are home. Drew Brees and company, they'll play much better at home than they did on the road last week. They should have beaten Cleveland, didn't get the job done, couldn't close the game out, but they'll right that ship, and New Orleans is a formidable home team. They'll get the job done. The Saints at home. Now the next game, Cincinnati Bengals at home over the Tennessee Titans. Now if the Tennessee Titans had actually won last week, I might have considered them for this in this game. I don't think I would have picked them anyway. Cincinnati is everything but invincible at home, and they were 8-0 at home last season in the regular season. They are at home in this game. I do see them winning this game, and they may win it handily over the Titans. Now next game, Cleveland is at home against the Baltimore Ravens. Cleveland, the Browns seem like the enticing pick. They played Pittsburgh very well that first game. They only lost by 3 points. I believe that was at Pittsburgh. Now, and they also had an impressive win last week against the Saints. But Baltimore is the more experienced team. You have the experienced quarterback with Flacco. The defense is coming around. I see this team going into Cleveland and winning it. I see this very competitive. Cleveland has improved vastly. I know it's 2 games, but I like with their coach. It seems like he's got that right personality and temperament for this team to turn around. But Baltimore, I'm still taking them in a close game. Now the next game, Detroit is at home against the Green Bay Packers. Now Detroit, being at home, they may put up some points, but they are playing the Packers. The Packers with Aaron Rodgers. I know their run defense is somewhat maligned and should be. They may give up some rushing yards, but at the same time, when you have such a potent offense like Green Bay, it's very hard to beat them. They are the better team than the Lions. I'm taking the Packers. Now, the next game, Jacksonville is at home against the Indianapolis Colts. Now, Jacksonville last season at home, I think they were like 2-6 or 1-7. Obviously not a formidable home team. They're just not a very good team, period. They can't put up many points. And I think, what did they score, like 7 last week against the Redskins? Indianapolis coming to town. The Colts are going to be back with a vengeance. They had the game in hand this past week, and they didn't get the job done. So Colts on the road. Now next game, New England Patriots at home over the. I'm going to take them obviously over the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders one of those teams that can't get out of their own way. I thought they would have played at least a little better against the Houston Texans last week at home. You're not beating Houston at home. You can't beat New England on the road. New England will win this one by minimum 14 points. I can see this as a real annihilation or drubbing. But the Patriots are back. They're very balanced on both sides of the ball, and they'll get the job done and win this home game. Now, next game, I'm going to take the 49ers on the road over the Arizona Cardinals. Now, it's week 3, but this is kind of like a statement game very early. If Arizona wins this game, they're going to be 3-0, and the 49ers will be 1-2. They'll be 2 back of Arizona right at the start of the season virtually. So I think San Francisco is going to have that urgency. Now, last week, I think we saw Colin Kaepernick show some ineptitude at the quarterback position. We're going to find out, is he a little overrated? Is he going to be more prudent with his passing this week and play a better game? I think he will. San Francisco's had their way with Arizona in recent years, and I believe they will. They will win this game. I'm taking San Francisco on the road. Now, the next game, Seattle home against the Denver Broncos. Now, most of you remember what happened in the Super Bowl. Seattle throttled Denver 43-8. It was a complete domination of on both sides of the ball. And we look at Seattle. Okay, they lost to San Diego on the road last week. It was by like 9 points. I think they can bounce. It's safe to say they'll bounce back in this rematch. They are at home. They'll have a raucous crowd. It'll be deafening. It's going to be very hard for the Broncos to really get their plays off. If Denver couldn't beat Seattle in a neutral site, they're not going to beat them on the road. So Seattle at home. Next game, Miami at home. I'm going to take them over the Kansas City Chiefs. I wonder if the Chiefs might be a little bit overrated. This was a team last season that started out 9-0, and then they finished 2-5 in their final 7. They got thumped in the first round of the playoffs. They're 1-1. I mean, I'm sorry, the Kansas City Chiefs. I know they had lost last week, and it's like, I honestly forgot what their record is, but I know they did lose to Denver last week, and this is a team that really is not as good as they were last season. I don't believe they're running into some tough competition. The Chiefs, to me, are, they have to, if they don't win this game, they can be in trouble very early in the season. So I do say Miami winning this game at home. Miami wants to bounce back from their abysmal performance against the Bills, and I believe they will get this win. Miami at home. Now Carolina at home. I want to take them at home over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now look at this game. Now Pittsburgh, they really, to me, this is a team that was once fighting agent attrition. Now I think they're trying to find their they're trying to play cohesively with a number of new players, young players and older veterans, and maybe it's just taking time for them to mesh. I think it's still an evolving process with them. Carolina is at home. They're going to play very well. Carolina is at least a playoff contender this season, if not a team that's going to compete for that division title. So anyway, the Panthers at home, and now last but not least, New York Jets. Now the Jets, anyone that saw any highlights at least of that Jets game against Green Bay, the Jets could have been in a tie with Green Bay at one point of the game, if not for a controversial call. I still think they would have lost, but the Jets to me showed me something, that they could play. You could play with the Packers on the road. You can beat the Bears at home. I know Chicago's defense looked relentless last week. They picked off Kaepernick a number of times, but maybe this was more attributed to Kaepernick's ineptitude as opposed to the Bears' great defense. I'm not taking anything away from the Bears. The Bears did look like they made some adjustments in the second half. They completely overwhelmed their 49ers last week and this past week in the second half. But I'm going to go with the Jets at home in this one. I think they will. They have enough players that will jettison the team to victory. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube NFL prediction segment, and stay tuned next time where I'll be giving you my picks for Week 4 of the 2014-15 NFL season. Until next time, people, stay well.